there are a lot of questions. The thing that amazes me is you have a very profitable industry. They make a lot of money. They're very popular. I think their popularity will continue to increase. Many people will have a pleasant experience. They pay virtually no taxes in the United States, even though they're based in Miami and a couple of other places. Everybody thinks they're getting on an American ship, but they're getting on a Panamanian. You know, it's always registered in some other country where there are no taxes and there is no sense of accountability or responsibility. And I say to myself, why is it that they are so resistant to making some basic changes on things which are so obviously going to come back to haunt them? We understand that, you know, 90% plus or whatever of whether it's a 3,000 person boat or a 6,000, now I think they're building them 6,000 to 7,000 passengers. If you're making the money, you don't have to pay taxes. You don't pay the Coast Guard for when they come to bail you out and drag you, or when the FBI is involved, you don't pay them. They have a free ride. They make a lot of money. They have a very good future. So why not, as a matter of business sense, forget humanity for the moment, but just as a matter of business sense, wouldn't they take steps to clear up some of these problems we've been talking about? I mean, I remember when my wife and I'd never done CPR, and our children were in high school, and we went and took a lesson in CPR, which I got through, and I think probably 3 days later I couldn't have repeated what I did because there wasn't a focus. There wasn't the same focus because it was all something that might or might not happen. Why don't they voluntarily make these things? Why don't they inform you? In modern society, if you're in bankruptcy, you know, that argues for not doing anything. But if you're not in bankruptcy and you're making a lot of money, and these are really good people that you have, why wouldn't you do that? And I simply don't understand that. And that sense of frustration, the sort of corporate mentality of, you're from the federal government, don't do anything about this. What you're doing is you're talking about regulation. If that's government running roughshod over an industry, that's just not true. Just not true. It's just common sense protection of passengers. And the airlines are the safest thing you could possibly run on. You wouldn't know that reading international news recently. Stay away from certain countries and airspaces. But I don't understand why they won't do it. And so one of the reasons that we have had this hearing today, and you have been patient enough to put up with it and to answer questions and tell your stories, is to put certain colleagues on this committee in a position where they need to help. You hold them accountable. It's done in life, it's done in business, it's done in family situations. You have to take responsibility. So, I mean, I've got a lot of questions here. But I don't feel the need to ask them because most of them have been in part responded to. This whole idea of a hotel versus a city, you know. It's mystifying. When we had our last hearing, the representative of CLIA, which is their lobbying organization, sat right where you're sitting, Ms. Ware. You may want to move. And just dismissed it all. We're doing everything we possibly can. People have a responsibility for their own safety. Well, that's true. But, you know, when the General Motors is discovering that when certain things don't work in GM cars, the entire nation gets interested, and then they're pulled before Congress, and they got to end up paying a whole lot of money to change their ways and to learn how to run a company with the consumer in mind.